A reading from the book of Genesis. The Lord God formed man out of the clay of the ground and blew into his nostrils the breath of life, and so man became a living being. Then the Lord God planted a garden in Eden, in the east, and placed there the man whom he had formed. Out of the ground the Lord God made various trees grow that were delightful to look at and good for food, with the tree of life in the middle of the garden and the tree of the knowledge of good and evil. Now the serpent was the most cunning of all the animals that the Lord God had made. The serpent asked the woman, "Did God really tell you not to eat from any of the trees in the garden?" The woman answered the serpent, "We may eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden. It is only about the fruit of the tree in the middle of the garden that God said, 'You shall not eat it or even touch it, lest you die.'" But the serpent said to the woman, "You certainly will not die. No, God knows well that the moment you eat of it, your eyes will be opened, and you will be like gods, who know what is good and what is evil." The woman saw that the tree was good for food, pleasing to the eyes, and desirable for gaining wisdom. So she took some of its fruit and ate it, and she also gave some to her husband who was with her, and he ate it. Then the eyes of both of them were opened, and they realized that they were naked. So they sewed fig leaves together and made loincloths for themselves. The word of the Lord.
Our first reading on this first Sunday of Lent comes from the book of Genesis. It is the story of the temptation of our first parents, which led to what we call the original sin, the fall of our first parents. Let us try to reflect on temptation. What is the nature of temptation? Of course, in the first reading, this is presented in the form of a story. It is presented in a symbolic way. But a deep, deep truth is being conveyed to us, something that we can all verify because we all experience temptation. In the story, we find the serpent beginning the temptation through a question that is obviously a lie. A lie, isang pagbubulaan. The serpent asks the woman, "Did God really tell you not to eat from any of the trees in the garden?" It's a lie. That was not the instruction of God. And to this question, the woman responded very well, truthfully, "No, that's not true. We can eat of the fruit of the trees in the garden, except of the tree of the knowledge of good and evil." Then follows another lie. The serpent says, the reason why God has forbidden you from eating of the fruit of that tree is because if you eat of the fruit, you will be like gods. You will not die. God is lying to you. You will not die. You will become like gods, knowing everything. And you see, this lie overturned everything. The woman saw the fruit inviting. The woman wanted wisdom. But what is the core of this? The woman, the man, wanted to be like gods. This is the basic temptation. And to achieve that illusion, to make it a reality in my life, that is sin. For that illusion and lie, our first parents would disobey God. Disobey God for a lie, for a false dream to become like gods. And they use their freedom, their God-given freedom, in order to go against God. Freedom is used now, not in order to respond to God in love and obedience. Freedom is used now, not in order to deepen one's relationship with God, and therefore to enjoy eternal bliss, happiness. Freedom is now used in order to support a selfish dream. A selfish dream which is in the end a lie. And what happened? After eating of the fruit, they did not become gods. The moment you choose evil, you turn against God, you do not become God. You turn against God, and by doing so, you experience shame. Not the promise of well-being, but shame and confusion. And so in the end, human freedom, which is at the core of our human dignity, does not fulfill its true purpose. When freedom is used in order to promote myself, when freedom is used to go against God's plan, then human dignity is shattered. The human person does not achieve what he or she is meant to be. Instead, freedom that is misused leads to degradation, shame, and confusion. So the first reading invites us to review our own experiences of temptation and how the devil makes us use freedom, one of the greatest gifts of God, for something that will destroy us. It is an invitation to us. Treasure your freedom. Don't use it to destroy your relationship with God and to destroy yourself.